Welcome back. We're continuing our look at the situation of Liberia's former female combatants as they try to re-enter society. Joining us here to discuss this is Jackie Red and Florence Bala. They fought in Liberia's civil war but are now working to empower women and help them become productive citizens. Also joining us is Tanya Bernath. She is a researcher with Amnesty International working in Liberia and also specializing in Sierra Leone and Gambia. Now, before the break, we were looking at how you ended up in these situations, and we had an email, and I'd like to put this one to you, please, Jackie. It came in from Lorraine in London, in the UK, and she says, women who are forced to carry guns, raped, cooked and cleaned for soldiers need to be re-socialized. Don't the men ever need that too? The media must help by using less inflammatory language where females are concerned. Now, what that makes me wonder from that email is how hard has it been for women in comparison to the men in Liberia? Has it been just as difficult for the men to sort of reintegrate into society?
Like when the DDR started in Liberia, they focused on men. The women were like left out. They told us that the program wasn't designed mainly for women. And some of these women, they have their children due to someone sexual harassment, someone that got pregnant and born for these men. And they have the child with them, but still they need that reintegration and that demobilization. And in that process, what DDR was going on, some of them went and participated in the DDR, but the chance was not given to them. Right. Like most of them need education. Some of them need skill training to able to stand on themselves, but none of the benefits were able to be received by the DDR process. And later, when we came to understand, some of them that went back to school, their school fees were not paid.
Now, presumably, as I say, it's the women who ended up with the children. It's the women who were having to really support families of their own, and the men, I guess, were more independent. Is that the case?
Yes. Yeah. Most of them focus on the men instead of the women. Women participated in the war. Then why will you have a DDR program and only say you only focusing on men? How about the women?
Florence, it's an interesting point because, of course, you know, now you're having to reintegrate into society, and yet people know you as, you know, a combatant, a former female soldier. How do they regard you now, knowing that you had to go out there, that you were fighting for whatever reason? And I know, for example, you want to be a doctor and you want to be a healer. And I wonder, you know, how people sort of regard you, how much trust they can have when they feel that you've gone out there and done these things.
They are going to trust me. When I get there, they will trust me, because right now in a community where I found myself, at first it was somehow difficult for them to really accept me one way, because they felt like I had so much burden. And now, right now in Fonjama, what I'm doing right now in Lofa County, I'm working with the women organization called the Women Rights and Democracy Center. I'm involved in bringing women together, and we raise awareness. We make people to know that women can be able to make sound decisions. We are involved in women empowerment. So because of this, they are not really reflecting their mind that I was once like this. No, but now they know that Florence is a kind of woman that always loves to bring cool ideas. I'm a good dreamer. I always dream of good things, so I put the women together for us to have to hold together and be able to do something great. Yeah.
Well, Tanya Bernath, if I can get you back in the conversation and ask about the your trip here to the US, of course, with both Florence and Jackie, who are with us, and others who are involved in trying to raise awareness. How much are you finding? Well, what sort of response are you finding here in the US to the call for, you know, some kind of protection for women who've been through this situation?
Well, we've done for about a week or so, we've done screenings in New York primarily, and we're going to do a few screenings here in Washington, D.C. And then the women are going on to Canada, and then later in the year we'll be doing some screenings in Europe, including the UK, the Netherlands, and Brussels. And so far this week, we've had really amazing responses. There's a lot of interest. There's a lot of concern. People really want to learn more. They have, I think the film does a good job and really brings people into the issue to help them understand. the reasons that women joined, which I think is not well known, especially in in the United States. And and then the consequences of sexual violence on women, which is critical for getting them into to reintegrate properly so they can help rebuild their country. I think the response has been with great interest, and I know that people, they want to do more, and our ambassadors have done really amazing job conveying that message.
Now, of course, there's the International Violence Against Women Act, which you're hoping will get positive reception in Congress, and I'm wondering what progress you found on that front.
Well, we've been really. I think there's a great link between what's going on in Liberia and the passage of that act. It's very, as I said earlier, it's very hard for women who have been sexually abused to participate in programs, and there are a few programs that really specialize and focus on victims of sexual violence in post-conflict countries. So by passing this act, that will give specific funding to women that are in this situation. And as you know, in these post-conflict situations, there's so many women that have been impacted. So I think this is a critical bill. It will provide psychosocial counseling, which is critical, support to the judiciary. It will really, help to improve the lives of women and get them in a place where they can rebuild their own country, and especially Liberia needs that now.
Well, Jackie, if I can put an email we got from Letitia in Georgia here in the USA, who wrote in saying, it seems that the women in Liberia who fought are still treated as second-class citizens, even though you have a female president. Do you see any change on the horizon? And I wonder, how proactive has Ellen Johnson Sirleaf been in trying to really take up the cause of women in Liberia?
Like me, the Liberian women, they had a lot of organization in Monrovia, and we look to her as a president and a female president. She needs to tell some of the organization that women leading, they should take the ex-combatant women in. We are human beings. They should understand that we never make our own way, or we was not happy to say, oh, we'll pick up arms first. But circumstances we find ourselves. So she needs to put more strength, and as we advocating, all the Liberians in the diaspora, they need to join us in this campaign to see how more we can push forward, to move forward, how we can reintegrate those who were affected in the war. As a president, a woman president, she should look at us, say, oh, we should be encouraged. We shouldn't be disguised, or it shouldn't be discrimination between we and other women that we are not women, or they should put us as a second-class citizen. We all have all equal rights, and we need to stand firm as a women to join her to move the country forward. It will be a great pride and a great opportunity that to see other ex-combatant women joining hands in hand into the government, and they would not like to reflect their mind back and say, oh, we are second-class citizens, we would not like to work with, or we would not like to do this, and we would like to push forward.
Interesting you raised that, and I put this perhaps to you, Florence, an email that came in from Aberystwyth in Wales in the UK, and Michael Jones wrote in saying, these ladies must have tremendous courage. Let them form a political party for change with the motto, the fight goes on for making a difference. Now, what Jackie was saying there about women getting more involved in politics, I mean, are you finding maybe one positive thing that has come out of the conflict is that women have learned leadership, had the chance to show leadership and come out stronger? Do you feel there is something positive that can be taken from this experience?
Yeah, something positive can be taken. Like right now, we found out that in Liberia, right now, in this ethnical government right now, we found out that the women are many, but those things were never happening before in Liberia. Like in some rural part of Liberia, when men are together, woman, you don't try it to pass in a direction. But right now, we found out that in this alien government right now, we have some great women working, great women making decisions. They're taking sound decisions, and we see that the country right now Although we don't have what we need right now is not yet there, because when something is damaged, to repair it is not an easy thing. But we are saying that at least on that aspect, women taking decision is really working. Yeah, and then we want to make sure what we really pressing forward right now. They are focused on women that are already established, but we want to get there too.
Right.
We want to get there. We can do that same thing that they are doing. Let them focus to, let them have a program for ex-combatant women.
Right.
We know that they have some great women among them. If they do so, they're going to get some people out of there that will make sound decisions.
Well, Florence and Jackie, I want to thank you, and Tanya Bernard, thank you very much for being with us and telling us your story, and good luck with everything.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you. And don't forget to send us your thoughts to riz@aljazeera.net for any ideas you have. From me and the team, we'll see you next time.